You want to know what the best part about the PlayStation Portal is? You can return it. Hey everyone, and welcome back to Joey's Retro Handhelds. I'm Joey, and today we're going to be talking about why you shouldn't buy the PlayStation Portal. For those that have no idea what it is, the PlayStation Portal, which is this thing right here, and it's basically a PlayStation 5 controller with a tablet sandwiched in between. And you use it for streaming from your PlayStation 5. There's no Bluetooth support for headphones. You can only use their official Pulse headphones, and you can only use this for PlayStation 5. So if you have an Xbox, if you have a PC, and you want to do streaming from those, that doesn't work with this. This is only PlayStation. So you might be thinking, that sounds pretty cool. It sounds like something I'd want, but what's the issues? Let's just jump right in. First up, just to get the unboxing out of the way, in the box there was nothing except for a USB-C cable and the actual device. So now that I've had the device, I've tried it in different situations. So I've tried it on my couch, in different spots in my house. I've tried it off of actual hotspot from my phone. And in every situation, the device actually seems to perform okay. So not a lot of huge wireless or latency issues, although you will get some skipping and things like that if you're going to do it off of your phone from a hotspot. But for the most part, if you have actual good wireless coverage in your house, then you should have a decent enough experience. Now, the first thing that I noticed right off the bat is the screen is actually pretty nice. I don't really have any complaints about the screen, and it seems to do the job, and it's a nice big one. Not really much to talk about when it comes to controls either. It's a PlayStation 5 controller, down to the fact that the triggers still have that resistance and that haptics feedback. Now, what does feel weird is the actual holding of the device, and it's comically large. I don't know if that's ever come across in any promotions, but this thing is really big. It's not a small device at all. It's weird, and there's no other way to explain it, but it just doesn't feel great, and it doesn't feel natural, I guess, to hold, is what I'm trying to get to. But so all of that aside, as you dig deeper and you turn it on and you play around with it a bit more, you get a sense that there isn't much to this device. The first thing that I noticed was just the lack of actual options and information. I couldn't tell while I was playing, is it 1080p, 720p, 540p? What am I streaming at here? What other information can I get from this device? And you quickly find out that as you go through the settings that there isn't really any settings to speak of. There's nothing on this device. You have 4 tiles and one of them's network, and you can go and change the brightness and haptics feedback and all of that, but nothing to do with actual streaming. And so again, you might be thinking, a big deal, I don't need a lot of options, I just want this device to turn on and connect to my PlayStation 5. And herein lies the rub. It's a big problem because this exists already. You can download the PlayStation Remote Play app officially from the Play Store and do all of this on another device. Now you have to actually use PlayStation 5's official controller for that, but I don't think a lot of people know this. There's a third-party app called PS Play, and you can use any controller, you can use any device, anything, and it works with that actual app. Now, the funny thing about that app is it's so much better than what comes on this device. We're just going to go through some of the options here, and you can take a look and see what actual information you have. From actually changing the resolution to frame rate, button mapping, and so much more. You can just go through and change whatever you want. Or, out of the box, it still works better than what is on this device with the PlayStation Portal. And so I tested all of that. I pulled out my AYN Odin 2. And I just installed PS Play and started playing from my PlayStation 5. And what I found was my experience was better than I found on the PlayStation Portal, despite the fact that the screen is smaller, but I was able to set it to 1080p, and I knew it was running at 1080p, and it looked better than the Portal does, and it felt better than the Portal does. So my question at the end of the day is, why would I buy a Portal then if other devices can do what this does and better. Now, the one thing that the Portal does have going for it is it's very easy to get up and running. When you first turn it on, you do a bunch of updates. It takes about 15 minutes or so, and then you can connect to your PlayStation 5 as long as it's on, and everything was just seamless. It was very easy to go through this process, and even now, when I just want to connect to the PlayStation 5, you turn it on, push 2 buttons, and you're in. Very easy. The official app does all of that as well, but something about this device just makes it a little bit better of an experience. So if you're somebody that doesn't want to fool around with a lot and just wants to connect and doesn't care, hey, am I playing in 1080p or am I playing in a resolution from the 1980s, then this is a really good device. But I think for most people that might have other ways to play this, Steam Deck, ROG Ally, Legion Go, Odin 2, any other device, even just putting your phone inside of an actual controller, like the Backbone, which I don't like, or some other type of controller like that, that is still a better experience than what this is offering, in my opinion. I don't understand how they can just put such little actual effort into making a device. This is the PlayStation 3 Sony all over again, just resting on their laurels and being like, hey, we're the big guys. But it doesn't work for this device. You have to actually put effort in. This operating system seems like it was made in a day, and it's embarrassing that a single person, can make PS Play, a third-party app, make this look like it was the unofficial device. And that's kind of how I feel at the end of the day. This feels like it was an unofficial device. It doesn't feel like it was made by Sony. It doesn't have that sort of quality. It doesn't have that level of attention. It just feels like they decided to, hey, make this, send it out, and we'll see if we support it down the road. Same thing like they do with the PlayStation VR. Or if you want to remember the PlayStation Vita. But you know what the best part about this device is? I can go return it to Best Buy because that's where I bought it from. So, do I recommend this device? And the answer is pretty simple. Are you heavily involved with PlayStation? Are you a PlayStation fanboy? Are you really into PlayStation? Is that the only console that you have and that's all you want to do? Then yeah, you can pick this up. You can play from your couch. You won't know much of what's going on, but it's good enough for that purpose that, hey, $200, go ahead and do it. $200 is a lot of money though, for just doing PlayStation 5, not having Bluetooth support, not being able to do any sort of setting changes or anything like that. This is kind of expensive for what it is. And that brings me to my next point. The problem with this device is that there isn't any good alternatives. So we have things like the Absolute, we have the Logitech G Cloud, we have the Odin 2, which I showed off, and there's other devices that can do streaming as well. You can do it on anything. You can go and pull up a old phone and do streaming. It's easy. It's not difficult. The difference is that this has an actual controller attached and you can hold it like this and do all of this fun stuff. But my point is that there isn't competition in this space for a device like this between the Absolute and G Cloud in this. The Absolute isn't comparable to this because the controls aren't as good as what this is, and neither is the screen. This is a better package than the Absolute is. Problem is, the Absolute can do everything. You can do Moonlight streaming from your PC, Xbox, you can do PlayStation, whatever you want, and more because it's the Play Store. Now, the G Cloud is a much better option than this is, but the problem with the G Cloud is that they seem to have forgotten about it. And I have no idea if they've been sleeping over there, and I have no idea what the marketing person over there is doing. But the first thing that I would have done if I was on the G Cloud team was be like, hey, let's do a sale for $200 and we could kill this device instantly. Because the G Cloud is just a better option in every way. But for whatever reason, the person who's in charge of the G Cloud is just doing an awful job. From the price that they listed it as, to the price that it still is, to the fact that they just let Sony get away with this without competition. So I have no idea what they're doing over there, but they should be doing a better job because the G Cloud is actually a fantastic device. So that's where we're at. We have a device that has no competition in a price range that doesn't make sense. And people are going to buy it because it's PlayStation branded and it's Sony and they're just going to buy it. So if you're here thinking, hey, does Joey like it? My answer is no. I'm going to be returning this because, again, I have other devices that can do this and do it better and do more. This just doesn't make sense to me unless you're only doing PlayStation 5 and you only have a PlayStation 5. But I'm going to be honest, this is the biggest cash grab that I've seen in recent memory because they've put no effort into this at all. And it's embarrassing for me, and it should be embarrassing to Sony, that a third-party app like PS Play can do a lot more than what's on this device as an operating system. So that's all I got. Buy it or don't. I don't care. This is just a disappointing device all around to me, and I wish it was better because they had a chance here to do a lot better with it, and they just squandered it in true Sony fashion. Remember PlayStation 3 Sony, how they were all cocky and just rested on their sales and decided to forget about Microsoft, who came from behind? Keep an eye on that. Don't forget to like and sub to help the channel grow, and hope you all have a good one.